What's up, everybody? Hopefully everyone had a very exciting and safe New Year's, but the 2021 year is upon us, and with it is a whole new menagerie of amazing game content that is headed our way. But before we get to any of that, I have to discuss the very last week of 2020 before we move on and embrace the brand new year. We are going to start things off with Stalker. Now, Stalker is a game that has been in the works since 2012 and is finally set to release in 2021. Now, GSC Games released a brand new teaser trailer showing off in-game footage for the upcoming title. Now, you're going to play as protagonist Skiff, and the game will be an Xbox and PC exclusive. The studio said in a statement that this teaser represents how the game actually feels. So fast-paced, change of scenery, ominous landscapes, and an ever-present feeling of an inevitable danger, accompanied by a barely distinguishable guitar soundtrack. The game is going to be a direct sequel to the first-person shooter survival horror game Stalker: Shadows of Chernobyl. Now, that game was announced back in 2001, and that game did not release until 2007, so long waits are typical for this studio, but with the kind of game that we got the first time around, this seems like it's going to be well worth the wait. It's a very exciting title. It's going to have that horror feel. The trailer looked very, very exciting, and it's just going to bring in a lot of elements from the original game and really advance them into this brand new title. Next on the list, we head to an exclusive interview with Edge Magazine from Team Cherry talking about their brand new title, Hollow Knight Silksong. Now, Silksong, for those of you who don't know, is a 2D Metroidvania-style action-adventure game. It'll focus heavily on protagonist Hornet's abilities, including her size, strength, and speed, with enemies in the world being designed around those factors. A big thing about this game is the fact that Hornet, your main protagonist character, will actually have dialogue in this game, which steers away from the original Hollow Knight title. There's no release date set at this specific time. That will probably be revealed in the next coming months. However, the story also revealed that Team Cherry is currently working on a separate, unrelated project. Now, there's no further information on this title. We don't have any other information leading us in one direction or the other, except that this title is completely different from the Hollow Knight franchise and will not be directly related in any one way. It's not a prequel, it's not a sequel, it's its own separate project. We're not going to know anything about it at this point. However, I would say probably getting closer to E3, we're definitely going to learn more, and it's going to be very exciting to figure out what the guys and gals of Team Cherry are working on. Next, we head to Apex Legends, and more specifically, the Outlands stories. Now, these short stories were introduced 9 episodes back in early 2020, and they have really kind of grown since then, and finally, with Season 2 being rolled out, a brand new short story has come out with it. Now, this story revealed a brand new backstory for the legend Pathfinder. Titled Fight Night, the short blends tragedy and comedy together as Respawn sheds light on the robot's days before the Apex games. Now, this is a really fun short. It has a lot of comedy within it. It really embraces Pathfinder's sense of humor and that kind of slapstick feel. But more than that, the story heavily focuses on ex-cop and now security guard / detective by day and amateur boxer by night. I know it's a handful. Victor Maldera. Now, this is a potential legend in the future. He's not a main legend right now. We don't really know anything about this character up to this point, but he really was a centerfold in this story, and his character had a lot of charisma, a lot of character, and it would really be an interesting thing to see how he is added into these stories in the future, and maybe into Apex Legends itself as well. The short helps tie Pathfinder together with quite a few other characters within the Apex games and shed some light on his actual creator. Now, the short, as I said, is the 9th so far in the stories from the Outlands saga, and while there are more on the way, we will no doubt have a lot more backstory on Pathfinder and hopefully Victor in the future. I love these stories. I think they're a really great addition to Apex Legends. It's a game where you don't get a lot of backstory and a lot of story-driven content for the game, just given it is a battle royale and there is no actual story within it. However, this really adds that extra layer and helps immerse you in what these characters are about, what their backstories are, and just, like I said, it adds to the depth of the actual world itself. I think it's a really genius idea. Now we're going to head to CD Projekt Red, announcing that there will be DLC content on the way in early 2021 for Cyberpunk 2077. Now, little is known about the upcoming DLC and no specific dates are available as of yet. However, we do know that the content is going to be free for all players who have the game, and if any indication is given from Witcher 3's DLC, whether it's Blood and Wine or Heart and Stone, it's going to add a lot of content and story. So this this is really exciting to see what CD Projekt Red is going to do with this DLC content. It is going to be a redeeming moment for them after such an abysmal launch, and I am really excited to see what this DLC content is going to be. Is it going to be a large-scale addition onto the end of the story, or is it just going to be some extra skins and extra content and extra maybe map space that you can explore? Whatever it's going to be, we will find out in the near future, and if you want more information, go onto their website. That link is going to be below. However, moving past that, we are going to go to Elder Scrolls. Now, Elder Scrolls 6 is confirmed to be in the works. However, that game is going to be a very long ways off at this point. And looking back to Skyrim, the fifth in the Elder Scrolls franchise, that game released back in 2012. So it has been a very long time for all of you Elder Scrolls fans, and hopefully there is some respite on the way, because the rumor mill is circulating that an Elder Scrolls Netflix series is reportedly in the works, with its first season having a budget of $150 million. Now, to put that into reference, the Witcher Netflix series' first season ran a budget of $70 to $80 million for its first season, which consisted of 8 episodes. There is no actual story or director or cast that is affiliated with this project at this point, and while we have very little information at all about it, the news came via Daniel Richmond. He's typically very reliable with these leaks, and hopefully this is true and Netflix will come forward with a statement confirming this in the near future. As of right now, take it with a grain of salt, but I would really love to see an Elder Scrolls series that explores this massive world with just so many different characters, and there's so many directions you could go, and it would be really exciting to see. Now, as I said, take it with a grain of salt, but hopefully we will get more information on this in the future. Finally, we're going to end things before we head to releases with a little something I'm calling exploring the indie devs. Now, there are so many indie developers out there. It is a very rich world full of crazy storytelling and awesome games that we sometimes really overlook just because of the massive mainstream games that are all over the market. But this week, I'm going to be introducing the very first segment of this part of the Weekly Rewind, and I can't wait, because this game is called Sands of Aura, and it's heading to Steam's early access in the near future. When in the near future, we don't have a specific date at this point. However, the game was developed by Chashu Entertainment, and the game is an ARPG and is set in the mythical realm of Talamahel. I hope I pronounced that right. It's a world in its twilight buried in a sea of sand. You'll sail across these seas to return life to this dying world. Now, Talamahel is an open world with each part being unique as well as tiered levels of difficulty within it. The game features a distinct art style, beautiful game world, and a trustworthy, albeit undead companion to traverse the world with. No specific date for this early access, however, it was very recently announced that it would be going there soon, so I would expect within the next month or so this is going to drop. This game has such an incredible art style, it's very unique, and it is just a very exciting addition to the indie world. It's going to be releasing to Steam, and I can't wait to see what it's going to bring to that table. Now, release-wise, the end of the year is always pretty quiet. There was only one game that released last week. That game was called Wingspan. It was developed by Monster Couch. It's an award-winning strategy game, and the game initially released back in September 17th to PC. Now, last week on December 29th, it launched to Nintendo Switch, and the game is based off a board game that released in March of last year. Now, the game is on Steam right now. It's 20% off if you want to go check it out. I got the page linked below. However, if you want it on Switch, it released last week, so definitely go check it out, because this game looks very unique. So if you're a bird lover and you want to play a game all about that, this game is built specifically for you. But other than that, that is all we are going to be talking about this week. I can't wait for everything that is on the way in 2021. There's so many great games, so much great content, and we are going to make the journey together. I can't wait, but until next week, I will see y'all later on the Weekly Rewind. Take it easy.